In this video, you will learn how to use your Global AuditReady application for the annual NERC self-certification process. I will demonstrate how to monitor the status of a standard, modify or add a narrative that describes how you comply with the standard, modify the metadata associated with the evidence in order to show only evidence that is self-certifiable, and upload new evidence. From the AuditReady Compliance dashboard, we will first select the appropriate date range. For 2015 self-certification, I will select January 1st, 2015 through December 31st, 2015 and click the Generate button. The AuditReady Compliance dashboard now shows all standards that are applicable to your entity's registered functions during this time period. The status for all processes is set to SME Review Required. As we go through the self-certification process, we'll use the AuditReady applications to track which standards are complete and ready for self-certification. Let's see how this works for Roger Norling, a subject matter expert. We will first select SIP-004-3A. The Global AuditReady application will open in a new window or tab that shows details about the standard and how your entity complies with the standard. Scrolling down, we see that Requirement 1 is applicable to our entity, and Roger is one of the subject matter experts. Scrolling a little further, we can see that there is evidence loaded in the system for 3 of the 4 quarters in 2015 and all 4 quarters in 2014. This evidence is associated with the narrative titled Cybersecurity Awareness Initiatives. Roger only wants to view evidence for 2015. First, he will uncheck all evidence except self-certifiable and click on Refresh Standard. As Roger scrolls down to where the evidence appears, he observes that there are now only 4 pieces of evidence associated with the process that he's responsible for. One, however, occurred in the prior year and should not appear as self-certifiable. He clicks on the evidence document, which opens in a new browser tab. He checks that the date is correct, and then closes the evidence and returns to the Reporter tab. Modify the status of this evidence by clicking on the pencil icon and changing its status to auditable. When he reruns the report, he observes that it no longer appears. You may have noticed that a pencil icon was not located next to Critical Cyber Asset Training, or Training Log. Critical Cyber Asset Training is a procedure located in the Documents library which uses versioning. New versions of this procedure are simply added to the document library to stay current. You would not change the status of this type of evidence. The training log is a link to another SharePoint library, which contains records for all employees. Again, the link would not have a status associated with it, so the pencil icon does not appear. The 4th quarter evidence for 2015 needs to be loaded. He selects Evidence to Load. This opens the document loader with the process pre-selected. Roger puts in the date, selects the document from his desktop, and renames it so that it is consistent with the other evidence already loaded. He changes the information classification to public, since the document was obtained from a public location. Then he selects Submit. Scrolling down, Roger can now see that the new evidence is associated with his process. When he returns to the tab with the reporter and refreshes it, he can see that the new evidence is now on the report. Now that Roger is comfortable that all the work associated with his process is accurate and complete, and all evidence is loaded, he can click on the title of the process and change the status to SME Review Compliant. Roger implemented a new control associated with this standard in the 4th quarter of 2015. To add the new control, click on the requirement number that the control should be associated with. This will open up the Setup GUI pre-selected for the requirement. From here, you can add either a new or an existing process. For additional information, view the video for how to use Global AuditReady to set up a standard. The compliance manager or internal auditor can monitor the progress of all the subject matter experts from the global AuditReady dashboard. When SIP 004-3A is ready for review, click to view the reporter and all associated evidence. Next, the compliance manager or internal auditor can add their auditor observations to show why they feel all requirements of the standard have been met and that the evidence observed is accurate, complete, and timely. Other auditor work papers can also be added. Back in the reporter, the compliance manager changes the status from SME review compliant to compliant for each process reviewed. Now, the report is ready to be printed. To save the report, click on the Tools menu in your browser. For Internet Explorer, this is a small gear icon. Select the Print option. You can print a paper copy of the report or save it as a PDF. The Compliance Manager now returns to the dashboard and regenerates it. The overall status for SIP 004-3A is compliant, and the Compliance Manager is now ready to review the next standard. Cooper Compliance is pleased to introduce this exciting application that provides a quality review process in a simple and easy fashion. Conduct your self-audit with confidence when you have audit-ready applications to help you manage your internal compliance program.